Welcome to the Halloween Marathon of 2022.
Back in the early 1990s, it was the emergence of the CD-ROM technology and the possibilities that came along with it that was making news. Around that same time, we also had the emergence of one-on-one fighting games and a little title called Mortal Kombat that would make headlines, but some were for the wrong reasons. In 1993, the United States Senate committee held a hearing aimed at the growing popularity of video games in general and the violence that was depicted among many of them. Titles such as Mortal Kombat were at the forefront of this discussion. Another game was also discussed in the hearings, and that was Night Trap, which was also a centerpiece of the committee's view on violence and how it had seeped into the gaming culture. Night Trap was not so much criticized for its violence, but rather its use of full motion video to portray teenage girls in a setting that had them in constant danger and being portrayed in a manner that could be seen as promoting violence towards women. The game was quickly pulled off shelves and Sega decided to discontinue the production of this game. But regardless of all the controversy that it had sparked when it was released, how was the game overall from a gaming perspective? Let's take a look.
Way to go, Control! I knew you could do it!
So the game is similar to Five Nights at Freddy's in that you are in control of cameras around the house. Now I say Five Nights at Freddy's since it's a game that most people can relate to when I use it as a point of reference. The story, it's a silly B-movie campy plot where girls are disappearing near a winery that is owned by a family.
I'm Commander Sims of the Sega Control Attack Team. Scat Mission 230. 5 teenage girls have disappeared after spending the night at the old Lakeshore Winery house of Mr. and Mrs. Victor Martin and their children, Jeff and Sarah. Right now, another 5 girls are headed towards the Martins to spend the night. Your mission? Protect those girls from whatever happened to the last ones. Now listen up. Last night, one of our agents got into the house and found some kind of weird security system. Hidden cameras in almost every room and a series of traps. Our agent spliced an override into the security system, allowing you to have control of the cameras and the traps with this remote unit. Use the traps to capture anyone or anything that endangers the lives of those girls. But make sure you don't trap someone you should be protecting. One slight problem. The traps are protected with an access code. They won't work unless you enter the right code. Right now the code is set to blue, and you have control of the traps. But anyone inside the house can change that code at any time. So pay close attention to what they're saying. Our override cable is here in hallway 1. If anyone disconnects it, you lose control. For good. This is my attack squad. And this is Kelly.
They couldn't get a better picture of Dana Plato? I mean, come on. It's like she wasn't ready to take the picture and they snapped the picture and they're like, oh, what the hell, we'll just go with that one.
Don't even think of messing up.
Your team hacks into the camera and trap system of this house, and that is where you come in as a player. It is up to you to keep a surveillance around the house for augurs. That's what you call the guys in suits, which are basically, they're vampires. Why don't you just call them vampires? You have to call them augurs. What a weird name. Anyway, the tricky part is capturing them. The counters on the left let you know how many of them have infiltrated the house, while the other number lets you keep count of how many you have captured. You don't want to let the possible counter go past 40 or it's game over.
You're missing the point here. You've got to be trapping more of those leeches. This just won't cut it. You put those girls in danger, that means you're out of here. Breaking contact.
The constant moving meter lets you know when any of the augurs is close to a trap around the house. The tricky part here is switching to the right room at the right time and pressing the B button to spring the trap. Another thing that you have to keep an eye on is the color code. It has to match with whatever color it is changed by the family members in the house. You initially start with the color code blue, but that quickly changes. You have to be in the right room at the right time, again, to listen to the conversations to hear what color it is being changed to. Nothing is more annoying than having one of those damn augers pass right by a trap and it fails to activate because you are on the wrong color code. Another thing that's going to help you during gameplay is getting acquainted with the layout of the house without having to go into the map over and over again like I did. So there's not a lot of gameplay here. It's mostly watching videos and just reacting to what's going on the screen at a specific time. And you have to be quick too, because if you don't press that button, once that meter hits the red, you're going to miss your chance to trap that auger. And before you know it, that possible counter is going to go past 40 and you're going to have to start all over again.
All in the fingers. Good hunting. All right. Let's go and get everything ready. You really get a kick out of this stuff, don't you?
So what are my thoughts on this game? Well, it's an early attempt to bring gaming content on the CD platform. The video, it's really bad, but then again, they all were back then, so that's not a big thing. However, the grainy video doesn't prevent you from playing the game or accomplishing tasks. At the beginning, it is a bit confusing. I was kind of lost at the beginning, even after reading the manual. You just have to figure out a certain timing to the game, and knowing what rooms are next to one another in order to follow the augurs or family members. And as the game progresses, you're going to notice that the same traps are being triggered over and over again. They're the same traps and the same videos being played over and over again. The only thing that changes is the color codes. And obviously the cinematics will change as the story progresses, but overall, you're going to be seeing the same thing over and over again. Oh my god. Someone shoot me, please. Shoot me. Well, looks like I found my new song to play on my car on my way to work. The problem I had was keeping the possible number down. I don't get it. The number keeps going up, but if you cycle through the rooms fast enough, you don't see any of them coming in the house. The number of augurs in the house does not match the counter. So regardless of how fast that number rises, you don't see that many augurs roaming the house, unless they're hiding in closets or something. I don't know. I mean, look how many I have here. It's like I'm hosting a freaking Super Bowl party. So for graphics, I'm gonna give this one a 2. There isn't much to look at in terms of graphics. You're mostly looking at videos being played out by actors or just sometimes staring at an empty room. The video window is also small, but like I said before, it's nothing that's going to prevent you from seeing things properly in the game. And for gameplay, I'm going to give this one a 4. I found the gameplay here to be very limited. At least the game tries to keep you alert by forcing you to constantly switch from room to room as you look for the augurs and keep the possible number from continuing to climb. But that gets old fast. Overall, this game gets a 5 on the Halloween meter. I can't imagine paying $40 or $50 for this game back in the day. Sure, the game had FMV and actors in it and all that, and speech and music, but I would have much rather played something like Super Mario World than a game like this. And I use the word game very lightly. I still do consider it a game, but it's mostly you just watching short videos and hitting the B button when necessary.
Megan, this isn't gonna work. You're not scaring me.
And the version that I'm playing here is the Sega CD version. The Anniversary Edition that they released uses much better quality video, but the gameplay, it's still the same. And the Anniversary Edition came out back in 2018 on the Nintendo Switch.
And let me say that for the record, I want to state that Night Trap will never appear on a Nintendo system.
Huh, boy, that didn't age well. This game is also currently available on the PS4, Windows, and even the PS Vita? It got a release of this game? Why? This game and Mortal Kombat were a huge reason as to why the ESRB was created. And you know what? I don't see the big deal with this game. It's a campy B movie with limited controls. It's silly and bad at worst. I find this game very innocent and just silly overall. But that's just my opinion. There you have it, that's Night Trap on the Sega CD. So be back here tomorrow for a game that feels like it doesn't belong on a marathon like this, but then you start to play it, and it takes you by surprise. It did for me.
Big problem.
See you then.
What?
The Augs are here.
All right, I'll go downstairs and reset the access code to blue.
Oh, now what?
What was that?
You're missing the point here. You've got to be trapping more of those leeches. This just won't cut it. You put those girls in danger, that means you're out of here. Breaking contact.
Ha 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 ha.